everybody, what's up? Welcome to FSP. This is Fun Speculation Podcast, and this is a new day and age now because we live in a time where exclusives no longer matter for showcases, and it's absolutely crazy because that's the day we live in, according to some of those in the PlayStation community now. So goalposts have been moved, narratives are now dead. If you tuned into my solo stream last night, which is now officially named Mavcast, I appreciate you being there. But yeah, we had a big discussion about it, and appreciate anybody who was there last night. I appreciate you all tuning in to this show today. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to sit here and talk about some of the PlayStation stuff still, the showcases that we had coming from the games that were at the PlayStation showcase. Now that we've had a weekend to sit on it and let it kind of sit. Do y'all hear that? Like, it's like a weird... Do you hear that, Jasper, or is that just me?
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything? Did you?
No.
Okay, that was weird. It's like a staticky sound coming through. I am trying something a little new tonight, guys, with the stream setup here. Using a different service and stuff to bring it to you guys. And we're going to have a little bit of different functionality that's going to help Tidbits and stuff like that run a little bit smoother and stuff like that. So I'm excited about the show, and we're going to have some fun discussions, but appreciate you being here as always. And let's go and introduce this smaller panel today. Shout out to our brother Psycho. He's under the weather. And also shout out to the rest of the Fun Spec fam. But we're rolling with a 3-man squad tonight. And first off, hey Fuzz, how you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Trying this new setup as well.
Yeah. So, holy shit, coming in hot. It's weird. Everything was going great with the audio right before the show, and all of a sudden, like, there's weird stuff happening. Yeah, can you speak again? But like, wow.
Sorry about that.
No, it's so loud. It's weirdly loud all of a sudden. That's crazy. Anyway,
I don't know if it's the mic or if it's just.
Did you move
I think
your
it's
mic?
probably because I'm going through the browser as opposed to the app, so it's probably all on my end.
Yeah,
here.
no worries. How you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good. Played a little bit of Insurgency Sandstorm. Missed some shots, and somebody with a 50 cal just obliterated the enemy, and had to clutch a checkpoint that the commander called a missile strike on. So yeah, had some fun today, but. Man, can't wait to get into the tidbits and some of the PlayStation showcase stuff and just all the news in gaming this past week and whatnot. So let's do this.
Right on, man. And how are you doing, Jasper?
Doing pretty good. Just been playing some poker and some kind of drawing game with you a couple hours ago. So
yeah,
we had some fun there. But that's about it for me today, really.
Yeah, nice. We do have a lot to talk about though, because yesterday, if you guys didn't catch the Iron Lords podcast, which is always a great show, but there was something that was said from Colin Moriarty, who's host of Sacred Symbols, maybe the most popular PlayStation podcast. I'm not sure, but the words were said that exclusives, like, why do we even care about exclusives? Why do we even care about that stuff at a showcase? And it's kind of surprising because this is coming from the same kind of community and everything that said exclusives were everything. Exclusives, Xbox didn't have them, so Xbox was shallow, right? It didn't have the goods to draw in a lot of players to the ecosystem, and that what's the point of even having an Xbox if they can't deliver the big great exclusive games and stuff like that? And it's a crazy time we live in, because I feel like yesterday, when that was said, a narrative has officially died. A narrative has died where PlayStation is a place for exclusives, and Xbox is just kind of the multi-platform console, or whatever it was kind of shared out there, or the Game Pass, or the value console, or whatever. Because if you look at the pipeline of what's coming ahead, there's lots of exclusives coming to Xbox. And in fact, there's been way more this year already released on Xbox and PlayStation. And that's something that's going to continue. Phil Spencer is now confident in the one big game per quarter. PlayStation's trying to focus on 1 to 2 big games, apparently, and they filled their showcase with a bunch of live service multiplayer stuff. as well from first party. Meanwhile, they're also dabbling and experimenting and canceling first party live service projects. And there was weird omissions even at the showcase that are exclusive to PlayStation that are supposed to come out this year. So it's very interesting what's going on right now. We are in I think a shift with kind of the ecosystems. It seems like PlayStation's trying to play Xbox, do the Xbox thing, but they don't have as much resources to fulfill that. And we have a lot to look forward to. The showcase for Xbox is coming up around the corner. With 2 weeks away, roughly. About, 12 days, 13 days, something like that away. And there's going to be at least 2 exclusives there for sure, because they've already been announced. That's Starfield Direct will be there. Starfield will be at the Starfield Direct, and then Forza Motorsport was confirmed that it's going to be there as well. That's already more big games at that showcase than the entire PlayStation show. And we have a lot to look forward to see what's announced for this next couple of years come to Xbox. So it's an interesting day and age now that we live in, where I think this is the time. This is where the realization sets in for the PlayStation community about the direction they're going in, and we're gonna kind of take a look back at it. Now, Fuzzy, it seemed like, PlayStation was trying to focus on their live service stuff a lot to try and get some hype behind those projects. Meanwhile, they're scaling back projects like Factions, or at least slowing down the progress of that, because apparently Bungie looked at it and thought it wasn't very good or something. And then also you have other closures or cancellations of games and studio layoffs and all these kind of things happen behind the scenes. Is this kind of PlayStation just trying to experiment and figure this out? Do you think they're going to be able to figure it out?
I hope they figure it out. I mean, the whole thing with exclusives no longer matter just seems funny to me. Everything that people have been harping on about Xbox, and now when Xbox has the exclusives, and it seems like PlayStation is, I wouldn't say struggling, but they're definitely having a sparse moment at this point. And now all of a sudden we gotta get some more grass seed for these moving goalposts. So, it is what it is. But given a lot of the live service stuff a try, I don't know. I hope it works out for them. I mean, the only thing out of the showcase for me that was really of interest as far as that was, Marathon, but that's multi-plat, and then you had Starship Trooper. I mean, what was that thing called?
Helldivers.
Oh, Helldivers 2. It's like a Starship Trooper simulator. So,
Yeah.
A game like that, yeah, I could see that, maybe having some legs. I guess luckily Bungie didn't get a hold of that and snipe that one. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems funny to me that, they bought Bungie to kind of help them with the live service stuff. And yet, I don't know. What was it? Naughty Dog made Factions for their original Last of Us back in the day, and people seem to be fine with that. I mean, sure, it didn't, outlast like a Fortnite or anything along those lines, but it seemed to at least hold some of their fan base's interest. So why put Bungie in that high of a regard? It should be like, well, maybe add this. Like it still at least show the actual, gameplay or something of it. But it just seems weird that they were up there, sniping people, and then they're like, oh, this is how you do it. Oh, here's Marathon. And it's like,
Yeah.
we don't really know what it is. And then what was it? Firewalk did their, Concord thing, which it's either Apex Legends in space or fast food delivery in space. Whatever it is, I guess we'll see it at some point.
So
then
if you look
Haven
on the blog for Concord, it says it's a PvP multiplayer game,
FPS,
first person shooter. That's all we really know. They talk about telling a different story each time you play or something like that.
I think like the head guy at the studio making the game is a former Bungie creative director. So
Right.
and he worked on Destiny.
It's weird though, because you had Haven's game, Fair Games announced. You had Concord's game announced, and you had Marathon's game announced. I don't remember a showcase where 3 games from a first party studio all were kind of like the same. Like 2 of them are extraction shooters, right? And then the third one is a first person shooter PvP multiplayer game, but all of them are kind of like futuristic-y shooters, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Fair Games is first or third person. I'm assuming Marathon's going to be first person because it's Bungie, right?
Yeah.
But like, even that, just like, it kind of tells you that they're just experimenting and greenlighting different projects and stuff, because like 3 aesthetically somewhat similar games in the somewhat similar genre, all announced from first party at the same showcase, was a little strange to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a Ubisoft move.
Right, exactly. I was saying that last night. Like, Ubisoft is experimenting like crazy with live service stuff, trying to turn all of their franchises into live service games. And you got Heartland, X Defiant, all these different things, right? And you see PlayStation doing this, and then this is also not even including some of the ones that were canceled. So it seems like this is the ones that Bungie may have looked at and gave the, hey, these ones are okay. You know, I don't know, but you know, they're still kind of all samey to me, even at this show. So it's hard to get excited for. What do you like? Which one do you get excited about? You know what I mean? Like, if you're excited for a futuristic-y, spacey shooter or whatever, which one? Pick one of the 3. You know, and like, I don't know. I have faith in Marathon because it's Bungie, but I have no faith in the other 2.
Well, the funny thing is, Guerrilla's game didn't show up. Like, we saw sneak peeks of that where it was like a Fortnite, you know, kind of version of Horizon Forbidden West or whatever type of deal. I'm kind of surprised that didn't make an appearance. I mean, I know that there was a bit of, you know, pushback as far as the art style, but
yeah,
at
I'm
least
thinking
show it.
maybe Sony is like afraid to show early stuff because they've seen how PlayStation gamers react whenever there's something early leaks, like the GTA 6 footage that leaked. Everyone would bitch about it. It's like, this game looks like ass. Duh, because it's fucking 6 years out or whatever. So like, a lot of people don't understand, like, games don't look great until closer to launch. So like, maybe someone's afraid to show stuff that's farther out.
Well, maybe they should have showed something that was closer to coming out. You know, I don't know, or maybe they don't have anything that's closer. You know, like if I was, you know, if I'm a only PlayStation player, right, and I saw that show, I'm worried about what's coming for 2024.
Yeah.
Right, like this year is already really weak with first party for PlayStation, and next year there's no signs of what's to come right now. I think some of those live services were slated for 2024, but it's also telling if it's slated for next year.
Everything.
Why wasn't there anything to show for it?
There was only a few games that didn't get a year. Most of that stuff was 2023 and 2024 at the showcase.
Yeah,
there was a few that didn't. But
I don't think Marathon got a year.
That wasn't one, and Metal Gear didn't get a year.
Did Concord and Fair Games both say 2024?
I don't
think they had a year for Fair Games.
Yeah, I think Concord may have said 2024 on the blog post. But other than that, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't scream warm and fuzzy inside, you know, like about what kind of games was going to be. And you know, PlayStation's had exclusives in like similar genres before that have failed, even when the PS4 was like going crazy. You know, remember Lawbreakers?
Yeah.
You know, that was exclusive to PlayStation and PC. Or it wasn't just PlayStation. I don't even remember. But that failed miserably. You know, they had some other hero type shooter as well that was exclusive. I can't remember the developer on it, but it failed. You know, like, so it's not like they have a very successful track record for live service games, even getting a big enough player base when they're exclusives in their ecosystem. So that's what
they've
kind of
trained their player base to focus on the third party, you know, live service, like your NBA 2Ks, your Maddens, your, you know, Call of Duty. That's pretty much all they'll play as far as multiplayer, it seems, because like even when you have multiplayer in some of their games, like was it Destruction All Stars? That didn't last. Yeah. So it's not lasting like it should, and you know. Even Gran Turismo, it has a decent online player base, but not to the extent of what you would expect for, that top tier, online racing aspect. I think GT Sport actually had a more robust player base, at least in the beginning, and then towards the end when they add a lot more events and daily races and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Marathon, Dragon's Dogma. I'm just gonna name the big games. Foam Stars and Phantom Blade Zero and Fair Games didn't get a year.
Okay, so 2 out of the 4, or 2 out of the 3 live service games that they announced didn't get a year. Marathon and Fair Games. So we got a year for Concord, which is 2024, and we got a we didn't get a release date for Spider-Man, but it's coming this year. No word on the Horizon game when that's supposed to come out. Factions looks like it's going to be years away, potentially, even if it ever sees the light of day at this point. And Wolverine, no telling on that. I'm
thinking they pump out a Ratchet next year, Insomniac, and then Wolverine's 2026.
Yeah, maybe. Do we think that they have any big first-party games for next year that are like the traditional Sony games? There was also another omission, like Stellar Blade, which is now published by Sony, was missing at the show as well. Yeah. So that was supposed to be this year. Like, that's a surprising one to me, because if you have a weak year like they're having with first party, and you have a game like Stellar Blade that's supposed to be coming out this year that is now published by Sony, where is it? And I have a little bit of a fear that they pulled a KOTOR and said like it's not cinematic enough because it's being published by them or something, and maybe having them go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Duke in the chat just brought up a good game. Death Stranding 2 is supposed to get shown off at the Keelys probably, if it's going to be anywhere. Yeah. So that could be next year.
Yeah, Kojima will be there probably and showing that. That would make a lot of sense. So, and that would make sense why that one wasn't at the showcase, just because Kojima and Keeley are best buddies and all that kind of stuff. Alvin hit us with a $2 super chat. Says, "Yo Kings, gaming with my sis. Going to catch it on the stream later. Appreciate you, Alvin. Thanks for stopping by, and hope you enjoy the show later and enjoy the gaming. Shout out to the rest of the chat. Thanks for hanging out here. If you do like the content, hit the like button, share it out, sub to the channel, notification bell, all the cool stuff. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, like what's 2024? Maybe just Death Stranding. That's the one game, possibly.
Well, remember the former director for what was that? Days Gone was saying if they had gotten that green light when they originally submitted it, they would have probably had that game ready for this year. So it's kind of sad now that they won't probably see a not Death Stranding, but a Days Gone 2 for some time now. I mean, I know that they're supposed to be working on a new IP, but I don't think that's going to be ready, between 2025 or 2026.
They said after the show on their Twitter feed that we know you're excited for our game, just we need more time or whatever. So we'll show it when it's ready to be shown.
Who said that?
Ben Studio, the people that make Days Gone.
Right. And we don't know what their game is, right? So
yeah, all we know is they're using the same kind of open world tech that they used for Days Gone.
Okay. Interesting. So, and are we in like a lull of PlayStation games coming up in the next 2 years? They relied, and here's where I'm getting at. Like the start of this generation, right? They're still relying on a lot of the big franchises that they announced in 2016. Like if you go back at that 2016 showcase that they had, and this showcase, everybody kind of expected to be somewhat similar to that. But that, like at that showcase, they had God of War, they had Spider-Man, they had Horizon, they had Detroit Become Human, they had The Last Guardian, which was an exclusive, right? And they had Days Gone. So they had like 6 big exclusive games, and they may have actually, and they had Death Stranding. So they had 7 at least, and possibly even more if I go back and watch again. At least 7 big exclusives.
Was that the following year?
Ghost of Tsushima wasn't at that one.
Okay.
But that was 7 big games at that same showcase. Now, several of them got sequels, right? You have Horizon Forbidden West, came out. God of War Ragnarok came out. Spider-Man Miles Morales, and now this year Spider-Man 2. You know, it seems like they've still been living on that era that 2016 really kicked off for them. In the last 7 years is kind of why people had all this talk about PlayStation's delivering the goods, and they also include, you know, throw Last of Us in there as well and all that stuff. And I think this is the end of that. This is like, it seems like the end of that era. I don't know.
I think with PlayStation though, like the insiders really don't know PlayStation too well. Like they always get it wrong. So I think PlayStation could have a surprise that they just like drop next year. I don't think PlayStation has a year that's going to be as bad as Xbox's last year.
Well, I mean, yeah, they still have Spider-Man 2 this year. Like PlayStation Xbox had no big games last year.
I'm
at
just
all.
talking about even next year. Like I don't think PlayStation's going to even have a worse year next year than Xbox did last year. Like,
yeah, well, again, that all it takes is Death Stranding 2 or one big game.
Yeah, it just takes one game. Yeah, so
right. But going forward, like besides that, if you have one or two big games, Xbox is going to have 3 or 4. That's the path that they're on, and that doesn't even include the other exclusives with like the other smaller games that they do, you know. And like this year we added it up, and there was probably like 8 plus first party games that are exclusive to Xbox, and then you also have third party games that could be exclusive or like the Game Pass deals and stuff like that. So I really feel like, you know, when they made that statement, you know, when Colin already said, you know, why do people even care about exclusives? You know, like you go back and watch that 2016 show, everybody cared about them then, right? But now it's like a showcase doesn't even matter if they're exclusive or not. Because you know why? Because you don't have that many. And guess what? If the exclusives are everything now, like they used to be to everybody in that PlayStation community that always talked about how much PlayStation was better than Xbox, then guess what? All of a sudden, exclusives don't matter to you if you want to keep selling the PlayStation brand, because Xbox is going to have more. Xbox is going to have more every single year in the next several years. And that's just kind of what the pipeline looks like. And I mean, that showcase didn't do anything to offset those thoughts, you know?
Like, going back to that old showcase, like, they only showed off, like, 7 or 8 games, really, that were, like, notable. So, like, now they're showing off, like, 30 games. So, is this the point where PlayStation's like, hey, we have stuff that's not just third-person, over-the-shoulder action game. Like, look at us. Join us now. Like, are they trying to get their user numbers up to actually compete with the market? Is this the shift 100%. That we want?
This is what we've been saying is going to happen. The issue is they didn't show really any of the other stuff too. So like I feel like it was too big of a culture shift for a showcase for the first one they've had in 2 years, where they kind of abandoned their model almost completely, except for just relying on Spider-Man 2, which is another sequel and another gimme that we all knew was going to be there. But the show that happened the other day compared to the 2016 show is night and day. Like, they didn't really actually have that many games total in that 2016 show.
They also had a 20-minute concert, which sucks.
Yeah, and they also they did have a big PSVR section in there too, right? So, but all the other games were like big, you know, and they showed a lot of gameplay of those games as well, you know. And I just feel like they've been living on that for a long time now. And now they realize that, hey, we have all these games. We went that way. We had all these sales on these copies of these titles. But guess what? Our monthly active users are still down, even though we're selling more hardware. Like, is this what we need to do? Because content services is really where you make your money. You know, and if they're not really growing the user base like they want to, and all that, then this is why they're dabbling in all the live service stuff. The thing is that it almost worries me to the point like where Ubisoft has, where they've dabbled and put too much resources into it. I think there was a thing where they said they're like 60% of their resources are going to go to live service and 40% like single player games and stuff like that. And if that's the case, you know, maybe it should have been like 70% single player, 30% live service, because all you need is like 1 or 2 to hit, and you can have that success and grow from there. But like, this does scream Ubisoft to me, where it's like, hey, let's just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks and see what's going to work out and what's not. And we're going to waste a lot of money. we're going to end up killing some studios because we're going to invest in their projects, and then we're going to cancel them, or we're going to take away funding. So all these different things are going on behind the scenes, and they're at a point now where they didn't have a whole lot to show from the traditional games that they're used to and that they've cultivated their fan base on. So they're in a kind of a tricky spot right now, where they've been preaching something for so long, selling something for so long, premium, this single player, third-person action adventure story-based games is the best experience you can get in gaming, and you get it here at PlayStation, and you're going to pay for it, and all these kind of things. And meanwhile, now their messaging is like, hey, those don't matter so much, right? And
They're
that's even
also,
being touted by some of the community members. It's very
It
different.
almost feels like they're trying to get away from just we have the best console, like we sell the most consoles, because like they're experimenting with VR. Like maybe we can get VR to stick with people. They're experimenting with this Project Q thing. Maybe we can get this to stick with people. Like they're trying to find like something else that sticks with people.
Yeah.
That's what it almost seems
Well,
like.
will it stick? Like, what happens if they invest all of this, like 60% of their resources into these live service games, and like only one of them sticks, which is the best bet, the marathon right now, right? Like, what if none of them stick? What if they keep wasting the resources on things like factions, and then Bungie looks at it like, this sucks and it ain't gonna work, to like.
Well, in 5 years, they'll be in Ubisoft's position where it's like, man, we just fucking wasted a shit ton of money.
I mean, we do know a lot of their teams are working on single player games, right?
Yeah.
We just don't know where they're at in development. And I feel like PlayStation is going to go into the next couple of years, and not necessarily as bad as Xbox had last year with first party, but go into a place where they're like down in comparison to Xbox first party. And I think the showcase that Xbox has coming up is going to show that to people. And I almost feel like saying the things like, why do people even care if it's an exclusive? Why are people so obsessed with that? And saying those kind of things is almost like a coping mechanism right now for getting ready for the Xbox showcase, when they reveal a lot of exclusives and show a lot of exclusive games at the show, because Xbox is in that position now that they need to deliver the goods, right? And they have a lot of them to show. It just depends on which ones they want to show. And we thought they were going to do this last year. They didn't. They did the 12-month showcase, right? But they still had more at the 12-month showcase last year than the PlayStation had at their showcase this year, with no artificial handicap, on it whatsoever. So I'm wondering what's going to be there. Like, we know Starfield and Forza, right?
Yeah.
Besides that, though, like all they need is like what, 3 or 4 other big games, and
Sea of Thieves, Minecraft.
dude, we're gonna get updates on that stuff. Which is the stuff that it's funny that PlayStation's trying to create that model of those kind of games, right? And eventually, if they hit, you're gonna get updates like that at their shows too, So, but let's say they show Fable, let's say they show Avowed, let's say they show Hellblade 2. Plus, we already know Starfield Direct, and then Forza
I think
Motorsport.
Fable and Avowed is almost guaranteed to be here.
Yeah.
You
Like,
think
I feel
Fable?
like Fable and Avowed, I think, is like pretty safe bets.
That's pretty like. I mean, if it's ready for 2024, you think if they show Fable, it's a 2024 game?
Even if Fable's a 2025 game, I think it may not be ready for gameplay, but they'd show you an updated CGI trailer of like more concept instead of just a fairy like coming out of a frog's mouth or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Just to give more people a general idea what the next Fable is going to be. And then Avowed, I think that's probably a 2024 game. So I mean, there was that rumor of them possibly moving to Unreal 5 or whatever it was, so it could be farther out, but
I think they've already moved to Unreal 5, and that was part of the reason why it wasn't going to come sooner. So it seems like with the transition, late 2024, early 2025 for Avowed, and I've always been on the train of Fable is 2025, probably late 2025.
If my bet is Fable's early 25, like it's going to be the March game or whatever.
Okay,
think
so what's 2024 for Xbox?
Hellblade is March, and then Avowed is probably their like
Summer?
late summer game, early fall game.
Okay, so what about the other two games?
Probably something smaller,
Contraband,
something on those levels, like Contraband or something like that.
Contraband, and maybe like Everwild surprises us and like shows up. And
I don't even care about that game. That game can.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's got to come out at some point, you know. Like, or I think we could. You know, I'm gonna make a crazy prediction and say that we're gonna see Everwild at the showcase.
I think we will. Whatever the updated, gameplay loop is going to be, I think we will.
Yeah. And we're going to get a couple new game announcements, too. Because Phil said that. He said there's going to be some surprises. So that could mean, I see in the chat, Jason Max, shout out to you, says Compulsion and In Exile. Maybe it could be their games. Maybe Ed's game, right? Whatever they're working on hasn't been announced yet, right? There's just so many things that, like, and the reason it's so easy to talk about this is because there are already so many announced for Xbox, right? So, like, it's harder to pick what's going to show, but if even 2 or 3 of those games show, it's just completely annihilates PlayStation show.
What I would like to see is an updated concept trailer for State of Decay 3. Like, I want State of Decay 3, instead of it just being like 4 houses in a town and then like go 4 miles away and there's another 4 houses. Like, I want to see like a small town or city in State of Decay 3. Like, give us a visual concept of that where like you just see the survivors like walking through like a downtown city. Like, make State of Decay more urban and city, like, instead of just fucking a farmland with 4 houses.
More like what we saw for the day after, but actually make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Compulsion's game, I feel like, is going to be announced.
Yeah.
Other than that, I couldn't pick the other surprises. You know, I have no clue. Maybe the battle royale from Halo. Gears.
I think if we get a Gears thing, it's just gonna be a teaser, like Gears 6 or something. It's not gonna be like a trailer. It's just gonna be like a logo.
Maybe like some kind of really cool in-game like graphics shot, right? Like just like
where they make the gear look like a 6 or something like that.
Yeah. How much gameplay? If we see Fable, will it be gameplay, Jasper?
I think it could be kind of a mix of gameplay, kind of like what we got with that first Halo trailer with Craig, like where it's like kind of cinematic but also kind of gameplay.
Right.
So in like an in-engine type deal.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we got at Hellblade originally. Yeah. I think it's almost a guarantee we're gonna see Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
You know?
That one I'm kind of wondering if they just wait for a direct for that game.
Right.
If it's going to be early March or late this year, like, I wonder if they wait for a direct just to kind of make it more of a surprise.
That's possible, but if they do that, they got to have some other good stuff to show, because that's one that would show really well, I think, if they did Hellblade 2 at the showcase. So, like, if you do hold off on showing Hellblade 2, it means you got to have some other good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, don't take that out of your show unless you know you got other stuff to give the goods, because Hellblade's going to be a showstopper when they show it. Like, graphically, it'll melt faces. You know, they'll show off the gameplay really well for the first time, probably when they show it again. And it is probably one of the ones that's coming sooner than later, right? So
yeah.
But
well, I'm thinking, as far as this showcase, I think we get a release date, possibly a demo drop the same day for Forza Motorsport, if not the whole game.
Have they ever gave you a demo for that?
Yeah, they always give you a demo, but most of the time it's only like 30 days out. I don't know if they're going to shadow drop this game. It would be nice, but I think we at least get a demo, downloadable that day, play it for the next 30 days, and then it comes out, sometime in July or August.
They do that thing where, like, after the show, like, some of the games here are playable for like a week or whatever, like the E3 trials or whatever they're called. So it could be.
And then I think we get if we don't get a date for Hellblade 2, we at least get like a developer's direct date type of thing.
Yeah, stay
like,
tuned for August, whatever. To
So I think those two at least get some sort of like finalized date. I think we get an update on like the Mystery 5, I guess you could say, from 2020 or 2019 or whatever. I think we get updates on Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed, and State of Decay. And I even think Everwild, Contraband, and Indiana Jones are there as well. I think Indiana Jones, we might get CGI or in-engine gameplay looking stuff, not necessarily actual gameplay. I think for Contraband, we probably get actual gameplay. State of Decay 3, I like what you're thinking as far as like, something like in-engine, something that's a little bit different than what we've seen in State of Decay 1 and 2. So if it's like a downtown area, tall buildings, all interiors enterable, but maybe not a huge downtown, but
yeah, I'm not even talking about
enough.
high. I'm just talking about more than 2 roads and 4 houses on a fucking
Right.
street.
Like almost like the amount of space as the Division 1's Dark Zone. Like if we can get something like that, I think we'll be on to something at that point. Perfect Dark, I think we get like in-engine gameplay or actual gameplay, but I think in-engine is probably more likely. Fable, I say in-engine. It would be nice if we see actual gameplay, but I think they got at least another year before we get to that point. And then Everwild, whatever reboot on their game loop that they were trying to come up with, I think we get to see what that is. I still think it's something where you're trying to nurture the animals in the area, and then the forest has like this corrupt or like evil presence that you have to fight every so often, and if you don't hurry up, it corrupts the animals, and then you got to have the animals you're gonna have to fight against and stuff like that. And then the like premieres or the debuts for Project Midnight from Compulsion, Project Cobalt from In Exile. I think we get at least an engine. As long as Phil has been talking about Project Midnight, maybe we even get a stealth drop. I kind of doubt it, but it's been talked about for 3 or 4 plus years. But I think with them still hiring some key personnel, although the most recent hire I think is for like social media management or something like that. So maybe it is closer to being ready, like within the year's time. And then I think even though Keeley's going to probably get, Death Stranding 2 from PlayStation at the Summer Games Fest, I think we see Overdose at the Xbox Showcase.
Think so?
And I'm guessing that's the name or whatever that leak was. Overdose, I can't imagine that being like the code name for Death Stranding 2. So I'm assuming that's that cloud game that he's been working on for Stadia that now he's working on for Microsoft. So
my guess is it opens up with Fable. Like if we get like any type of in-engine or gameplay, Fable's the opening, and then like the last like 15 minutes or so, it's going to be Avowed, and then it's going to end with Indiana Jones, and then they're going to be like one more thing before the Starfield Direct starts. We got something special, and it's going to be Gear 6 or Gears Collection or something logo.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
So I kind of want them to start off with Forza. I know it's kind of a gimme, but for me, like watching the showcase, like I want the gimmies to be the beginning and the end, right? Like, because they already said Forza is going to be there, so we already expect it to be there. If you start off the show with that and then just get it out of the way, kind of, you're gonna blow people away graphically by showing those cover cars in depth and stuff. But then
I feel like Force is also the known, and you don't want to open with the known because then people will be like, oh, it's just going to be kind of shit I already know about, and they might tune out like right away. Whereas like if you open up with a big surprise that we haven't really seen stuff for, people will be like, I'm going to stick around for a little bit.
See, I'm the opposite. I feel like it's just like a soft opener kind of like, and then you blow people away with the second thing, right? Because people are going to be like oohing and awing about the graphics already. But like if you come up with like Forza, and then you do like a brand new game reveal for the second thing, right? That'd be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? That's already 2 huge exclusives, right? And then you have more and more show. And then I would say Fable for the end of the showcase. right? I think Fable has such a huge fan base and is like the one franchise that people want to see most come back. And they already know it's announced, but I think there's more people looking forward to seeing that than any other of the announced games, right? So when we see Fable, I think it's going to be a really exciting moment. I think you can end the showcase with that, but then you have Starfield Direct after, which is everybody's gonna be talking about Starfield anyway. And like, we're gonna all watch the showcase, and then after it, everybody's just gonna be talking about Starfield. It's gonna be crazy. So they got like it's such a layup, man. It's such a layup. I know it doesn't even matter how they fucking format the show if they put the games in it. You know, like we can talk about that for days, but I don't know.
The one thing with Fable being at the end is it's another RPG, and you're going to go right into another RPG with Starfield.
That's true.
Yeah, but one's fantasy kind of versus sci-fi. So
That's why I was saying like Indiana Jones, like because that music, Indiana Jones music, people are going to fucking go crazy when they hear dun 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 or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
You know, it's like
Indiana Jones would be a big moment.
Yeah. And then you have Gear 6 or whatever it is, just like a logo. And people will be like, oh my fucking God. And then you just get them with Starfield.
Is this going to be Xbox's 2016 moment that PlayStation had? Like,
I think so.
There's going to be enough big games to be there that I think that it can happen. They usually show 30 to 35, right? The PlayStation showed about that same amount, but like most of them were, I'm not gonna say insignificant, but weren't like super exciting, you know?
Yeah.
But if you have like 8 first party games there, that's a lot. And I think they can do it. So Fuzzy, like I think in order to capture that the 2016 type show that PlayStation had, I think you got to show gameplay, right? You can't just have a bunch of random trailers. So which of the games we might see gameplay for? Is it Fable, Avowed, Hellblade 2?
Hellblade 2, definitely gameplay. Avowed, possibly in-engine or actual gameplay. Fable, I still think that would be just in-engine. I don't think it'll be actual gameplay. Just based on like what Matt Booty was saying and how they didn't feel they were ready, I'm pretty sure it's probably ready. It's just a matter of they're probably holding it closer to the chest. So
they don't want another Craig.
Yeah, so they'll do like an in-engine thing and go from there. We'll definitely see something of Fable. Just I don't think it'll be like 1-to-1. Somebody holding the controller off screen kind of thing. I think it'll be more of like an in-engine like slice of like a mission or like the early start as far as coming to town or something along those lines.
I think Forza is your gameplay. You get Xbox Series X gameplay with that.
Yeah, that's a give me though. Like, I mean, they've already shown gameplay for Forza, so it's not like.
I'm saying like we get like more like.
Right.
Not as many cuts and stuff as like breakups. We get like a whole lap or something.
Yeah,
like,
just do one lap with the cover cars, and like cut it in between. That would be amazing. And then what I would like to see for Forza is them not spend too much time on it. Because they already announced on the 13th they're going to be doing the Forza Monthly again, a deep dive on the career, right? They're already at that stage. So people were like, I don't think Forza's coming out this year. I think with them saying they're deep diving on the career at this Forza Monthly, that means it's coming this year for me.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't do that like even more than 6 months before release.
And then at the end of the trailer, you zoom out like just where you see like the whole map, and then it switches between a bunch of different maps and daytimes and nighttimes.
Yeah, I want to see a daytime shot, and I want to see a nighttime shot, like between the two cars. Because that's what they said they're gonna do. They're gonna showcase the cover cars at the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're excited about that, like Fuzz. Like, do you agree though? They don't need to spend too much time on Forza, like.
Yeah, because if they're going to do the Forza Monthly, that's kind of like their already developer direct type of deal for Horizon and Motorsport. So as long as I think the key thing is show the understanding of how you acquire some of the cars. They could do that briefly, like cars are only earned from winning races or from this, that, or the other thing, as opposed to like wheel spins or auctions or something like that, and then show all of the tracks that they'll have, or maybe a list of the tracks, but show some of the key ones like Norbert Ring.
Are you talking about during the show or the after show thing?
Or during the show, they could do all of this in like less than 5 minutes. Like they can
See,
do
like,
a lot.
I'm thinking like you don't even show Forza 5. I'm thinking like 2 minutes. You just show like a trailer where it's like cars, like this is how many cars, this is how many tracks, stuff like that, and it's a showpiece on running on the Series X. Like you don't want to spend too much time on it. You just want to show people how good it looks on the Series X,
and actually put
like,
that
how many
language on
cars
the
and
bottom,
maps.
running on Series X. Yeah, captured on Series X or whatever. Yeah. That would make a statement.
Yeah, if they do the captured on Series X, I think that would definitely help matters. So you don't see any mouse cursors or anything that people will be like, oh, see, it's on PC.
Yeah.
Because like if they don't say that, people are just going to be bitching about Forza and be like, is it PC? Is it Series S? Is it X? Is it 4K? Is it 30 FPS or whatever? So it's like,
yeah.
It's interesting that we can have this conversation now, like, and the hindsight of the PlayStation Showcase, and just there's so much stuff that we can look forward to with Xbox, and this was what we expected from PlayStation. They didn't deliver any of it really, and like I said before, when you have people like Colin Moriarty come out and say, why do people even care about exclusives at all? But it's why he doesn't understand the obsession. Unless from people that it doesn't matter unless it's first or second party and all this kind of stuff is like such a far move of the goalpost that they've had, and Xbox is going to deliver a lot of that, right? So I feel like it was a coping mechanism to get ready, first off, for this Xbox show. Secondly, I feel like when PlayStation does announce these inevitable big first these single player action adventure games and stuff that they're known for making, and these new IPs and stuff, I feel like they're going to try and take the goalpost back. They're going to try and be like, wow, look at these exclusives only on PlayStation and stuff. But the issue is that by the time that happens now, by the time that they have that showcase, if that ever happens, by the time that happens, Xbox will have been at a pace of releasing one big game per quarter. So that I feel like, and I said this on the stream last night, that narrative is officially over. Once those words were uttered from the PlayStation fan base, once those words were uttered from them, once we saw that PlayStation showcase, the narrative is officially over about PlayStation being the place to play the exclusive big time games and Xbox not having them. Like it's done. They can't take it back.
I
it's
kind
over
of agree with that, but at the same time, like, Xbox has to get the word out, like, because the media is not going to do it. Games Radar has already fucking made this stupid thing where it's like, all they got is Starfield coming out or whatever. So like, Xbox has to get the word out themselves to where people actually know that there's games coming out for Xbox.
You think the showcase, if it's big enough, it'll do that, because there's so much talk about that right now. You know what I mean? Like, after the PlayStation showcase, all eyes are on Xbox, and I feel like all the PlayStation diehards that watch that show are going to want to see how Xbox responds now, especially after they put that tweet out that blew up. Look at all these games coming to Xbox that were at the PlayStation show, right? I really feel like they're going to have that moment. I do anticipate there being some multi-platform games at the show, and then PlayStation putting out a tweet says, look at these games coming to PlayStation. I can already see it coming. But the thing is that everything at the Xbox show, for the most part, just like the last two shows, will be in Game Pass. So it's not going to be as easy to say that to the Xbox show, because that's what they do with these showcases. They focus on things coming to Game Pass, and like 2 years ago, they only had two games that weren't in Game Pass, and that was Diablo 4 and Battlefield 2042. Right. And turns out eventually Diablo might actually be in Game Pass. And guess what's in Game Pass now? Diablo is already in Game Pass now, but they weren't going to be day one releases. Right. Every other game 2 years ago at the Xbox show was day one releases. And I'm pretty sure almost every game at the show last year was in Game Pass as well. Even the new games announced, we had Wolong announced there. That was a day one Game Pass game. You had High on Life as well as a day one Game Pass game. And those weren't even first party, so this is going to be harder to move that needle. It's going to be this is a realization time period, I think, for a lot of fans that have been eating the words that PlayStation's been putting in their mouths and just repeating this stuff, and now it's like, well, when they see Starfield and Forza and potentially Hellblade 2 and Avowed and maybe Fable or whatever, Perfect Dark shows up or whatever else is going to be there, and the other new games are announced, and they see it's all in Game Pass day one, right? And they see a couple third-party games that are going to be there Game Pass day one that are new, and they see some indie titles that are Game Pass day one as well, and including some of the most anticipated ones. And then they see that PlayStation show, and it's like not very exciting. And plus, you have to pay $70 for almost every single thing that was shown. At some point, does a realization set in about the value proposition being so much stronger in one ecosystem than the other, or what does it take for that to hit? Because I feel like part of it, you're right, Jasper, is Xbox really needing to let people know. But there's just because there's so many that just choose to ignore the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the PlayStation people, I feel like they don't even look up what's on Xbox because they don't care because they don't have one.
Yeah.
So like, why are they going to tune in if they don't have one? So like, I don't know. It's just
I do feel like that this moment
They're going to tune in to criticize
Yeah.
with a microscope.
well, that's what they'll tune into their favorite PlayStation YouTuber or whatever, and the PlayStation YouTuber is going to be like, "This game's shit. That game's ass. They stole that from PlayStation. They bought this studio, so it doesn't matter. It's not a game." It's like there's kind of all those narratives.
Yeah. There's people. I see Victor Alstein's comment, and I'm gonna answer that right now. He said, "Is it possible that Sony can have another showcase later focusing on single player games since this one was about multiplayer?" And that's something that people are putting out there randomly now. PlayStation's gonna have a second showcase. You know, like when have they ever had two showcases in the same year? And I mean, we're lucky to get one, really.
We haven't had one for 2 years, so why would they all of a sudden double up now?
We think it's a possibility that they could do that?
It'll be a state of play for Spider-Man, and they'll show something else.
We anticipate that. Like that was a given. They're going to do a state of play for Spider-Man 2, right? And maybe they do have something else there, you know. But I don't know.
Updated trailer for Wolverine.
Like, what if you had that? Why not do it at this? You know, like at the big showcase.
They didn't know. They're trying something. They wanted to see if games as a service will stick. And since they got that feedback, now they'll sneak in those single player games that the insiders say that they removed from that showcase. Like,
what I wish they would do is just make an entire VR show so I don't have to watch it during the main show.
Yes, please. Have it. I mean, none of the users on PlayStation even have access to those games, hardly. It's literally taken up like 10% of a showcase when only 1% of the users, if that, have access to those games or even give a damn about.
0.5% right now, if it's 600,000.
Yeah. Man, it's so weird, man, to see what like Redfall, you know, that whole moment happened, and you know, Xbox was down. Angry Phil came out and he was like, "This fucking sucks, but I'm here." And you know, we're down, but you know, we got the showcase coming. We have first party games. We got some surprises, you know, and we're all like saying, "Man, PlayStation's gonna come out here and kill Xbox with the showcase," because that's just what they do when the Xbox is at a down point. They come out there with their strongest moments. You know, they came out there and laid up a softball, and now Xbox, this whole narrative, everything in the community, like you see the stuff going on around the conversations out there, everything is completely done a 180 just because PlayStation show was so bad. It's crazy.
That's why in the gaming like media industry and stuff, like 1 or 2 weeks, it's all it takes, and the entire fucking thing can flip.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Like when Xbox had their big TV showcase, everybody was so excited about the Xbox One potential of what was going to happen and all this kind of stuff. They were looking for answers on these questions that were out there at the time about DRM and like all these kind of things. And they came out there with that reveal of the console and did the TV stuff, and it was like everybody's like, "What the fuck?" Like, well, I mean, I'm buying a PlayStation, you know. Even
this year, we've had like 4 flips on Xbox. Like at the beginning of the year, we're like, Xbox is fucking shit because of last year, and then we got the directors like, yes, Xbox is great.
Yeah,
that was good for a couple weeks, And then there was some like bad CMA news or whatever. It's like, man, Xbox fucking sucks again. And then it's just like,
And now we're all like super hyped for this PlayStation Showcase, which I mean, the Xbox Showcase and Starfield Direct. Like Starfield Direct alone is going to hit harder than the entire PlayStation Show. I feel like because it's a new IP. It's Todd Howard's first big single player RPG in forever, you know, and it's a game that a lot of people are really looking forward to. Like, it's hard for a game that's like the third sequel in a franchise that's kind of samey to have that level of impact. And Spider-Man 2, it did that, you know what I mean? And like it was good, you know, and it delivered what people expected, you know, but like
they still should have did the co-op though.
Yeah, they should. That was a big fail. RazorNZ, shout out to the 5 gifteds. Appreciate you so much for giving those gifteds out there. Tom from Toonami with the $5 says, I have a feeling that the trailers from Henderson Saw were probably from studios that had their games canceled or reevaluated. Also, let's go Heat. Woo. Yeah, the Celtics just lost in Game 7. They did push it to a Game 7, but they didn't cause a miracle. They lost in Game 7. The Heat won. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the NBA this year. But also, apparently, my Stars lost. So that's great. Yeah, layup time. Speaking of basketball, everybody's saying this is a layup. I think they're going to Shaq dunk, break the rim on this thing, and pull a 2016 PlayStation show and kill it.
We'll see. I hope we get a 25-minute presentation on HoloLens too.
Don't jinx that.
HoloLens.
There was already somebody, I think Clover was talking about the what do you call them? The ray tracing for Minecraft. I'm thinking like, don't you dare show that shit. At this point, y'all lied about that like 5 or 6 years ago. Well, I won't say lied, but you showed it and then nothing. And then when the Series X first came out, it was working, and then they pulled it for insiders and no, don't even bring Minecraft to this show. Don't do it.
Ray tracing mode is going to officially be revealed and going to be shadow dropped.
I think there's a new DLC coming out for Minecraft, the basic version, so they'll probably show that.
You don't think if they did that, what if they showed it said shadow dropped ray tracing update for Minecraft and showed it and it was like everybody's like, whoa,
it would be about time, but they better not spend more than not even 5 minutes. 2 minutes.
You know what's crazy though, Fuzz, is like we wouldn't really be excited for it, but that would be massive news.
Oh yeah.
Because of how big
so many
Minecraft
people
is.
That play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they always make room for something Minecraft at one of these shows, right? It's their biggest property.
You can guarantee Sea of Thieves and Minecraft are going to be here.
Yeah. Oh, Sea of Thieves is a huge success for live service, right? Like, they're going to do the new season update, and maybe it's going to be a big license deal like they did before with like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that. Maybe be a Little Mermaid. The movie's a hit right now at the theaters.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid, you got Ursula and you got Ariel and you got Flounder and you got Sebastian and you can do songs and it'd be great. You don't want Little Mermaid Sea of Thieves content?
I don't play Sea of Thieves as is, so it makes no difference to me. But it would be kind of cool because I think after they did the Pirates of the Caribbean, the only other thing that I think PTK came up with the idea, do like a One Piece and Sea of Thieves, get a little bit of an anime mix with it.
I mean, there's already mermaids exist in the worlds of Sea of Thieves because that's what saves you and takes you back to your ship, right? So instead, it's just going to be Ariel. Easy update.
Yeah.
Like Sea of Thieves will be there, right? And also probably Elder Scrolls Online.
I think their DLC comes out on the 6th or something, doesn't it?
I don't know. Does it? If it does, that would maybe mean it won't be there.
Or they may show and be like, "Hey, this just came out. Check it out," or something like that. But
right.
Yeah.
What about ZeniMax Online's new game? No.
Hopefully they show whatever that game is. I'm even though it seems like putting the cart before the horse kind of thing. I'm still thinking it's like Starfield multiplayer or Starfield MMO. I hope I'm wrong, but well, then again, I hope they do eventually do something along those lines. But it's going to be a curious thing. I don't know if it's going to be something Marvel related, something Disney related, or something completely different. We'll see.
Honestly, I don't think we get too much out of Bethesda. I think we get the Starfield is at the end of it, obviously, and then if we get anything, it's Indiana Jones and I mean maybe updates to something else, but they're not going to show Redfall because it has a bad sting to it. So they're not going to show that's DLC. I mean, unless if it has something that's close, but I don't know if it has something that's close. They may be saving it for QuakeCon. You have small updates like maybe they show something of their stupid mobile games because they always have like 3 or 4 from Bethesda.
Maybe. Yeah. What about the rumored licensed game? Right. Was in with the Bethesda. There's been a rumor floating around for a while now that they had made it that there was 2 different licensed games. One of them was Indiana Jones, and then there was another one that nobody knows what it is. Right. So that rumor started like a year and a half ago or so, I feel like, and we haven't ever heard anything more about it. I don't know that's big truck assault with that, right? But it wouldn't surprise me at all because Bethesda would be the one to do that.
Yeah. If we get another license game from them, it's just a logo, like how Indiana Jones was revealed.
Unless you use some of the Starfield tech for a Mandalorian game.
Or what?
Where it's almost like not a fan-made mod, but like an actual serious reskin.
Yeah.
What if that was the ZeniMax Online game?
Yeah.
A Mandalorian online game? Or
Star Wars or anything. You know, you could do any other license, really. Like, let's say Lord of the Rings. Well, they wouldn't do Lord of the Rings because they already got Elder Scrolls, right? Yeah. So maybe something DC or Marvel. I mean, I'd be more likely Marvel because WB would want to have control more over their stuff. But some kind of Marvel MMO. But isn't Insomniac's making a Marvel MMO as well, supposedly?
Well,
there's a rumor.
Yeah,
but I still don't know why they wouldn't have shown that at the showcase unless it's that far off. I would have figured that one would be, closely released after Spider-Man 2 or around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, this may be a hot take, but I could give a shit about a Mandalorian game.
Really?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, it's like
you don't want to play as Grogu.
All you do is either babysit or you play as a fucking baby.
Okay, no, but all right. What if it wasn't like a Mandalorian game, but it was like a bounty hunter game? Like you were a Mandalorian, right?
That's better.
And let's say it took place back on Mandalore, right? When Mandalore was still inhabited by all the Mandalorians and they had their fights with the Jedi.
If you're talking about a Mandalore
kind of
game, that's cool. But if you're talking about a Mandalorian like the TV show, no. Like the TV show's great, but I don't want to fucking babysit.
I don't even. I if they made
It'd be a sad dad simulator online.
Yeah, I don't want to babysit either. But you could like hit a little button and Grogu could go do some kind of force move on somebody, like something.
I could hit a button and send him off a cliff, and it would be a better game.
He would just float, man. He'd get his little space bubble egg thing, and then float back to you. I mean, you can't get rid of Grogu.
That's the problem. He's like stuck on it.
He's got force powers, man. He's stage 5. I will say this about Grogu: he's a stage 5 clinger. He is. I mean, Mando tried to dump him off over there with the Jedi. He couldn't even get rid of his ass. He showed up back. He's like, I'm trying to get rid of you, kid.
Yeah, that's when the show was starting to get good when fucking Grogu was not with him.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave you here with Uncle. Is this spoilers? I don't know.
It's like 3 years old.
It's just at least a season ago. So yeah.
I don't. I would like a Mandalorian game, not a Mandalorian game.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with you in that. But it is a good story though, and it is all the rage. So it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see a game come out in that world.
Yeah.
Maybe a Telltale one. Telltale style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be better for like a third-person action adventure or something like that, but not an online game.
Yeah.
But then you just retell the fucking show. Like, what do you do with that?
A side story, a little side story they didn't show. So many different possibilities. I think that Xbox is going to kill it. Third parties show up. Like, do y'all have any anticipation for what third parties could be there?
I'm assuming Stalker 2 will be there again.
It's been
still
quiet
like
for them, so maybe they're closer to being finished. Because not that things have completely died down over there, but they've been quieter, meaning that they probably can go back to having most of their staff back at the new studio to work on stuff. Because it seems like things have kind of slowed down somewhat in that region.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, maybe something from EA. I don't know what it would be though. The Immortals of Avium game. Oh, that was shown at the Keeley's before. Yeah, Keeley's usually showed that game, so that's probably going to be there if it is anywhere.
Here's the 3D or 4D chess move, because everybody was talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 appearing over at the PlayStation Showcase. And you know how
people have been saying that for 4 years.
Zelnick or whatever, the CEO for Take-Two, has been really nice about the whole ABK acquisition. Maybe he has some financial influence, having them say some kind words because they got the marketing deal. Probably gave Take-Two $1 billion or whatever it'd probably be to have the advertising rights for Grand Theft Auto 6, and we get the exclusive trailer on Xbox's showcase.
Yeah.
Rockstar will announce their own date for the trailer. They ain't giving that shit to anyone.
You think? So? So I'm gonna go through. Like Clobrel had put his predictions out there, right? So maybe it's fun. Like Clobrel's a big time Xbox community member, and he's gonna try and keep some realistic thoughts out there. So shout out to Clobrel. And I want to go.
Did have anything? He's not going to share it.
No, for sure. He won't share it. So I'm going to go through his predictions. So, and he said like every year, trying to keep it realistic just for fun, right? So I want to go through Clobrel's that he had shared out there, okay? And we'll see if this would make a good show for you guys and where this would stack up to PlayStation Showcase. Starfield full demonstration. He put that number 1 because it's already given as Starfield Direct. He said Forza Motorsport condensed presentation plus release date, full demonstration at Forza Monthly, which is kind of what we said we wanted. And it's also he put that number 2 because they already said they're going to be at the show, right? So now moving on, he goes on to say Age of Empires 4 for console release date. I think that's probably pretty safe as well. Yeah. I mean, they did say it was coming, and it was in the 12-month release schedule window thing. The
only thing I would say with that is like they usually do Gamescom stuff with Age of Empires, so like maybe they save it just because it's already a known thing,
right?
But
that'll be. I'm so excited for that when that happens. Age 4 on console, it's gonna be sick. Age 2 on console is already so badass, and they keep updating it. There's like content coming out the ass for Age 2 Definitive Edition. It's insane. And remember, Phil even said that there's more people playing Age 2 on console than there is Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, yeah.
Which people say, well, RTS, these games are niche and all that stuff, but Hi-Fi Rush got all the praise, all the glory, everybody talking about it. There's more people playing Age 2. Amazing. Maybe that tells them that there's an audience for this stuff, and they actually release something big and good, like new, like big time, that there'll be even a bigger audience, right? That's what I hope. Age of Mythology Retold announced for PC release date. That's Global's 4th prediction. Is it too early for that? They did acknowledge that they're making Age of Mythology.
I think they could probably get that out next October.
Yeah, this is Retold. This would be just the port of the original. Or
No,
is
it's
this
a
this
remake. It's
remake?
like age 2 and 3 that they did. This is a definitive edition, pretty much.
Okay, and this would set up potentially a new Age of Mythology, I would assume,
Well,
in the future.
they would just keep adding to this one like they do with Age of Empires 2 and 4 and stuff.
Right, but Age 4 was a new game. That's what I'm getting at. Like, bring back Age Mythology, get, more excitement, and then you come out with a new Age of Mythology later. Hopefully. We'll see.
Maybe in like 15 years.
15? Right on.
Yeah.
Well, they did say, you remember they said that they were working with a, World's Edge said they were working with another partner on another game.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that?
Wait, was that Project Belfry, or is that something else?
That's something else, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember. There's Aura exists. That was one of the projects, and that's going to be released for PC. But they said that at their sit down show or whatever before, that they're working with a partner on another new game.
Yeah, the thing is with the Age of Empires community though is it's very hard for Microsoft to do new stuff with it because a lot of the fans, they prefer Age 2 over 4. There's fans that like 4, but Microsoft has a hard time of balancing out that thing where it's do we focus more on Age 2 because we have a lot of people over here? Or do we go to try to do new stuff? So they're constantly balancing between different tournaments with those two games. They're trying not to divide the community in the Age of Empires because they know it's still very fragile. If they just focus all on one bad game, then they're going to lose everyone. So it's hard for them to commit.
Right. Interesting. And this could be the Age of Mythology thing. You know what I mean? That they're working on. That could have been it. Let's see. The fifth prediction that Global says is Aura History Untold for PC with a release date. That could happen. I saw some in the chat earlier saying don't waste any time on Aura at the show. Aura looks pretty good, honestly, but it is only coming to PC first, so it won't excite a lot of Xbox first gamers, right? But it is one that they did say was supposed to be within that 12-month window, so any of those games I think is more than likely we'll see at this showcase. And there's been positive feedback from the community that's been testing that game. Then his sixth prediction is Sinuous Saga, Hellblade 2, gameplay plus release date. That would be strong if you actually got a release date for Hellblade 2.
I don't know about a release date, but
so far he has 3 release dates.
I think Microsoft
4.
may be afraid to put dates on stuff.
Yeah, you think so? Even if they're coming out sooner than later?
Unless if they're guaranteed, I think Microsoft's going to be pretty lenient on giving the dates from last last show and the negative feedback they got
on Aura. I kind of agree. I don't know if we'll get a release date on that one yet. Just based on what they said at their last kind of community update that they had that I saw. All right, Hellblade. I think we could get a release date though. Potentially,
yeah, I think it's close enough.
If it's this year, I think we get a month. If it's next year, I think they just say it's next year.
You are PlayStation didn't even give a release date for Spider-Man 2. Yeah. So that's interesting. All right, then he goes on for his seventh prediction. It says it's Halo Infinite Season 4 trailer. I hope they do that at the Day 2 show. Because they are doing another show afterwards. They announced on the 12th to give updates on some of the stuff at the show and stuff. And unless that has a battle royale or something crazy in it like that, I feel like it would be best to hold that off for the other show. But it's still Halo, and they're still trying to bring the community back into it. And if they have a big Season 4, maybe they'll put it in there. Right. Sea of Thieves Season 10 trailer.
Yep.
That'll probably be there, right? That's pretty safe. Minecraft visual update with ray tracing trailer, he says.
Minecraft will be there if it's ray tracing. I have no idea.
Yeah. If they do that, I hope it has a date or like it's a shadow drop. Otherwise, don't have it there because we've already seen the Minecraft ray tracing stuff online. Contraband trailer. Maybe gameplay trailer for Contraband. He didn't say gameplay, but I'm thinking if they show Contraband again, it's got to have gameplay.
Well, we haven't really had a CGI trailer for it either. Like the next step after the announcement trailer would be CGI.
Well, the announcement trailer was the CGI trailer.
Yeah, but like we didn't get anything like to give you like a perspective of what the game is. We just got like little signs, you know.
Well, the signs told us what the game is, and like I don't know if they can do anything more with that other than tell us like what, like show us, you know. I mean, unless they show cars battling each other in a CGI trailer or something like that. Next time we see Contraband, I want to see gameplay.
Same.
Pure and simple. I feel like initial reveal CGI, second trailer gameplay. That should be the case. That should be the standard. Then he goes on to say, these are getting fun here. Number 11 is new Xbox Studios game announcement. He says slot number 1 CGI trailer. In either Compulsion, Double Fine, and Exile, World's Edge, Xbox Game Studios Publishing, which could be either Stoic, Kojima, or Brass Lion Media.
Any fucking Xbox game.
Yeah. And then he did the same. Then he said for slot 12, or number 12, slot number 2, an in-engine gameplay trailer from one of those studios. So basically he's saying like there'll be 2 new games announced. One of them will be CGI. One of them would be like in-engine or gameplay, right? From first party or Xbox Game Studios Publishing, which would be second party. Then with number 13 and 14, I think he means to type exclusive, but he typed elusive. No, he's okay. The elusive fly, the elusive 5 slot. No, sorry, he didn't mean to type elusive. The elusive 5 slot number 1. It'd be either Avowed, Fable, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, or Everwild. And then he goes on to say elusive 5 slot number 2. So he's saying 2 of those games. Either out of Avowed, Fable, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, or Everwild. What are the 2 most likely out of that group, guys?
What'd you say?
Avowed, Fable, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, and Everwild. Or what do you want to see? If you got to choose 2 games to see out of that, which ones would they be?
I mean, I would choose Perfect Dark, but I know that's not going to be there. So Fable and Avowed is, I think, the 2 that are going to be
most
there.
likely. What about you, Fuzz?
For me, I would say Avowed and Perfect Dark. Or actually, no, Avowed and State of Decay 3.
Okay. I would personally choose Fable and Perfect Dark. That's the 2 I want to see the most. Followed by Avowed, State of Decay 3, I put in the same spot, and then Everwild. And then his 15th prediction, his final prediction, is surprise slot for a returning fan favorite IP.
Returning IP.
Fan favorite returning IP. What would y'all want to see come back? What would be the fan favorite IP surprise slot?
Banjo or Gears is the only really 2 that are going to make a big name.
You don't think they could do like a
Voodoo Vince,
Crimson?
Blinks the Time
what about
Sweeper?
like a Crimson Skies, right? Or Conquer.
I don't think Microsoft's risky enough to take on Conquer anymore. Crimson Skies, I think that's kind of a weird game to do now because you would have to change so much. And it's just flight combat games don't really hit too well anymore.
Right. The chat's
So
saying
that'd be-
Killer Instinct, which would be big.
Yeah.
That would be big if they announced Killer Instinct at this show. That would be that would draw a lot of excitement and cheers from people. So Gears, let's say Killer Instinct, let's say another fan favorite IP. They've already announced like, oh, okay, how about this? Let's say they figured out the licensing from Mecca Soul.
1 versus 100.
1 versus 100. in the show with that.
Yeah.
What about What about Quake?
I mean, if id's making a game, I hope it's Quake or a new IP. But I don't know how if id would announce it here. I mean, I hope they show something, but
who knows, man. But like that's 15 predictions pretty much focused on first party, right? So there's gonna be indie stuff there. There's gonna be third party stuff there as well. If we see 15 first party games at this showcase, which is very possible, and you saw how many at PlayStation show?
5.
And that includes Helldivers 2, right? With that 5 count.
Wait.
That's
Helldivers
utter
is-
destruction.
Helldivers is published by PlayStation.
Yeah, it's published by
okay.
PlayStation, but it's a second party studio, right? So it's like, you could equate that to like a As Dusk Falls or like even Microsoft Flight Simulator is made by Asobo, right? Contraband is made by Avalanche, so it'd be kind of like that kind of thing. Except Helldivers was originally like a very like indie type game. It was like a top down co-op experience. It was a lot of fun. I loved Helldivers, but it was a smaller project, right? Early in the PS4 generation, there wasn't a lot of stuff to play. Like this one came out and was kind of a hit.
The thing with the Xbox list though is like 5 or 6 of those are probably updates to games that already exist.
Okay, you mean like the live service games?
Yeah, like it would be like Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, Halo, all that stuff. Like the game's already out. It's just updates to it.
Grounded, see a big Grounded update. I kind of hope they kind of do all those in like the second show. I think maybe we'll see a couple of them at this show, but I don't think they'll do them all.
No, they won't do them all. They'll do I don't even think they do Halo if it's BR, because Halo doesn't have the population, so they're not care about it. Whereas Sea of Thieves and Minecraft, they have population, so people will be more excited about those, like the casuals.
Will we see 343's logo appear at the showcase?
I think that thing's probably buried in the Microsoft graveyard at this point.
That's a question. Will we see 343's logo? I think we do. Somehow, some way, 343.
See him as a support studio.
Yeah. Here's a question. Like, this hasn't happened in years now, and with where they're at with regulation on the ABK stuff, I feel like if they wanted to make a smaller acquisition, they could do it now. Like their whole PlayStation worries are behind them with the regulators. It's all about cloud.
Well, they can
stuff.
do like was it less than $100 million, and they don't have to like go through the FTC and all that bullshit.
Right. Like, is there potential they could acquire like a studio or something? They haven't done it in years, but when they've done it before, they've made announcements of those things. At the shows in between 2018 and 2019 or so, I think 2017, 2019.
But didn't they say that the showcase isn't the place for announcements anymore?
I don't know.
Something along those lines. Like I think they said that last year or leading up to last year, but the big thing is those size acquisitions are already happened. Like I think Bethesda acquired a studio and somebody actually, well, no, because they don't own ABK yet, so those acquisitions don't count. But Bethesda acquired like a small support studio, and I could have sworn there was another small support studio that was acquired, either to help with Mojang or something like that.
Yeah, Bethesda bought someone and they opened a new studio too in Turkey or something like that.
Yeah. And I thought there was also like a support studio for Mojang or something as well.
Right.
And I know ABK bought 2 or 3 studios, one for Blizzard and then 2 other very small studios, but one I think was like a port studio, either to mobile or port for PC kind of thing. And then the other one was like a support studio for Treyarch or something like that, I believe.
Yeah.
But there aren't that many studios that at least we're familiar with that would be within that ballpark range.
I mean,
Plus,
unless
I
if
think
it's
from an optics standpoint, they're really, I think, hesitant to do anything until this ABK stuff is wrapped up, just for optics purposes.
if they get anyone, I think it's going to be like some small like startup Japanese or some kind of like Asian studio that's like
Mhm.
kind of cheap. That's just like the Bright Memory Infinite dude or whatever. Like those type of studios over there. Like something really
Yeah.
small.
I hope we don't see any of those types of games at the show. Like, I mean, maybe Exo Mecha shows up, but like, you know, the 2020 showcase thing they had, the big, hey, this is next gen reveals and stuff like that. They had Bright Memory Infinite, they had Exo Mecha, and all those kind of games show up there. It's kind of like that was such a, looking back at it, like filler just to have stuff at your show. And they were still so early in the process for even kicking a lot of these games off, you know. And those projects that we all saw on there, a lot of them turned out to be nothing burgers, you know. Like Exomech is still not out. Bright Memory Infinite ended up, like, nobody gave a shit about it, to be honest with you. Like, some played it or whatever. It wasn't like, everybody, oh my god, this Bright Memory Infinite thing is amazing.
Well, it's just like the first mission or some shit, isn't it? It's not even like a whole game.
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. Like, it's... but I feel like they had to rely on stuff back then to try and do a showcase. Like, and it's like now they should be in the stage to where all the big hitters are kind of closer to ready, you know. And we are now going to be living in the era that Xbox has the games, Xbox has the exclusives, and PlayStation has no games. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, guys. It's weird. I don't know. It's a weird world we live in. Remember, who cares about exclusives? Who cares? Who cares about exclusives? I don't know. And first party, second party. You know, why are people so obsessed with those kind of things? It doesn't make any sense. Words spoken from people that said that PlayStation was HBO and Xbox was basic cable, right? That Xbox doesn't have any reason for people to be in the ecosystem. Why would we even want Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard with what the kind of games that they're producing and stuff like that? Why would they even want that?
Why did they acquire Ninja Theory?
Why did they acquire Ninja Theory? Why did they acquire, you know, Double Fine? What do those studios do for culture? Right, you know, words spoken from this kind of people and talking about, you know, where's the Xbox's God of War? Where's their Last of Us? Where's their Horizon? You know, like, imagine where Xbox would be if they had those games. To now saying things like, who even cares about exclusives? Why do they even matter? Like, why are people so obsessed with first and second party? Why? I don't understand. Is it because I've been saying it for freaking like 5 years now? Maybe is that why? You know, ever since PlayStation really stepped forward and had all those big games, preaching the words of PlayStation first party superiority for so long about how the exclusives make the ecosystem the premium experience to play in. And now when it looks like there ain't shit coming in the next couple of years potentially, they no longer matter. It's amazing. Guess what? I can tell you one thing. Exclusives and the first party games coming to Xbox are sure as hell going to matter to Xbox fans when we're all playing them day one at Game Pass. And when we see them at the showcase. They are going to matter for sure. And they're going to draw more subscribers to the ecosystem. Because guess what? In the words of PlayStation gamers for years and years, isn't it about the games?
What about the Wu-Tang game?
Thanks,
No one really
Jim.
brings that up. Do you think that could be shown?
The Wu-Tang game could be. You know, we haven't seen it yet. You know, but that's the that was on Global's list there. That's the
Oh, was it?
yeah, like Brass Lion Media or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, guys, are we ready to get into tidbits, Jasper?
Oh, we usually go till like 12, so I was just kind of waiting for that.
we're gonna have a Jasper's here is gonna take over tidbits for us. I'll give you
Just
a minute.
talk for a little bit.
Yeah, we're good. This segment is the segment where we are going to go ahead and take a look at the games coming out for the week. I don't think any of these are exclusive, but we'll see.
I'm gonna. Yeah, you're in there. You can start playing it. I think. No, sorry.
All right, here we go. Yeah, this is one of the reasons we're using this new thing here. Why I'm using Discord, because it allows us to do this cool little activity, and we can watch the show together. And Jasper's gonna play these trailers for us.
Oh, do I have to start it or?
I don't know.
Oh, I'll start it. And it should, okay.
We haven't used this before. Sorry. What's this game?
It's
This chicken.
yeah.
This looks like a drawing game. Yeah, we're very tiny down here. Hi, people. We're like a baby.
It's like,
I could even hide our
coloring game.
cameras here.
I mean, it's all right. It's whatever.
Is this a PlayStation exclusive? This is
No,
this
this-
is like Cat Quest.
This one is just on Xbox, I believe.
Oh, this is an Xbox exclusive.
1999 comes out tomorrow.
Oh, right on. What's it called?
Chicory, a colorful tale.
Chicory, a colorful tale. Calarie says this game is supposed to be good. Hey, tiny people. We're tiny down here. So tiny.
Yeah, they're all added. Next one's Company of Heroes.
Oh, this is the console release.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting this for sure.
$59.99, PS5 and Xbox Series consoles.
Yeah, this is day one for me. Yeah, we were in the pre-show trying to figure out how I can make our cameras bigger for this segment. We couldn't.
I mean, we usually don't have cameras on it anyway. So
Yeah. Oops. Oh, there we go. Hide members. I'll just hide us. Sub RWK. What's up, Micah? What's up, Chris Coleman? Talos. This looks so good.
May 30th.
Is it releasing tonight, I wonder? On console or like tomorrow?
Probably, I would say like lunchtime. That's usually how these smaller games kind of
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I have a feeling this will eventually come to Game Pass because it's Sega and they do some
Yeah.
deals with Xbox, but shit, I'm getting it. I am waiting. This is so much better with this playlist here, Jasper. And this functionality. It's awesome. What is this
Next
game?
game is System Shock Remake.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just
this
PC for now.
yeah, this one looks
$39.99.
really good.
Yeah, the console version got delayed.
Of course.
I still like In Exile's comedic take on the release of this.
Did they make a tweet?
Yeah, they made it a little while ago. Like, you like putting things on people's faces. And like, wait, I can access the entire internet at any point? And then he's like, he dials in, and you can hear just like that AOL like phone chime thing, and he like melts.
Welcome to my death machine, interloper.
May 30th as well.
This is going to be an odd question. Do you think they ever remake Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2?
I don't know.
There was actually a
day?
rumor like last week that someone spotted like a Half-Life 2 like Source 2 code or some shit.
Interesting.
Huh.
I remember this. I played the Etrian Odyssey before on my 3DS, I think. This is like one of those typical like dungeon style JRPG tactics games, like turn-based games. You go through and you kind of find your way through a maze and you run into enemies. Pretty fun.
Now the collection, I think it's 3 games, is like $79.99 digitally on Switch, and it's like $80.27 I think on Steam.
Okay. Endless
This is on the
Possibilities.
1st. So
On
we're
the
now
1st?
in June. Yep.
Yeah.
Old school dungeon crawling. That's right, Micah. Some good games coming this week. Etrian Odyssey.
Remastered.
1, 2, and 3.
Rated T for teen.
Killer Frequency.
Oh my god, oh my god.
What is this?
Stay with me, kid. Focus.
This gives me Hotline Miami aesthetics right now.
What's your name?
Carrie.
Good, good. Carrie, listen to me. We're gonna get you out of there. Folks, you heard it here.
What's all this? What's this coming out on?
On the streets of Gallows Creek tonight.
Oh, it's coming out on PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series consoles, Meta Quest, Switch, and PC. $29.99 on everything except Switch. You get it for $5 less at $24.99.
It looks like kind of like a detective game. I like games like this.
I don't know where I am. His face is lying next to him, Forrest. Where's the key? The roof. It's coming down. I need someone here now or I'm gonna die.
Call Jericho.
I don't know about the voice acting.
Hey, Big Shot, hit the button and take the call.
Killer Frequency.
Okay.
Looks pretty cool. Oh, that's from Team 17?
Yeah.
Skatebird.
Yeah, it's been on Xbox for like a year now. It's finally coming to PlayStation.
I'm sorry. I check out with games like this.
Yo, this is like fucking Tony Hawk, bro.
yeah, I'd rather play Tony Hawk, you know?
It's fun for achievements.
Jax82 says, "What showcase is this? This is Tidbits." If this is a segment we do every week on FSP where we look ahead at the games coming out for the week. So this is releasing on PlayStation finally.
Yeah, PS4 and 5.
Okay,
$19.99. Comes out on the 1st.
it's already out on Xbox.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6. This is a big one. Do I have to mute this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. This is a big release. This is another day one for me, everybody. Fuck, I'm gonna be spending some money this week on games. Holy shit. And that's not it. We know. Oh my god, I
Diablo.
forgot what else is coming. Holy crap.
Diablo.
I can't buy all these games.
You got to buy the $90 or the $100 edition of Diablo to play it this week.
I know. Fuck. I mean, I gotta
might
get
wait
Diablo.
on Street Fighter. Well, I think they're going to do like either a Super Street Fighter 6 or a Street Fighter 6 Alpha or something along those lines where it will have more of the characters included. So I think I'm going to wait this one out.
Yeah.
Unless FOMO hits sometime between now and the beginning of June, but we'll
That's
see.
what I'm doing with Company of Heroes. I'm not getting it because I gotta fucking buy a $100 copy of Diablo.
Yeah. Let's fight.
I just like the fact that they're doing like that NBA 2K kind of, playground type deal.
Micah, the early release of Diablo launches the night of PM on Thursday night. We'll be live for PM in the PM.
I think it's June 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
Diablo.
We're gonna be live
Yeah.
on PM in the PM with our gameplay of Diablo.
What's the over or under of you and Pong being like level 15 by the time you start the show?
Probably over. I'm gonna give it about a 90% chance. But let's go with like 5-1 odds.
Yeah.
I really want this too, though. I don't know what to do. Like, why does Company Heroes, Street Fighter 6, and Diablo have to come out the same fucking week? This is insane. Yo, Deccaddo just hit us with a $50 super chat, guys. $50. Appreciate it. Says funding your gaming habit. Addicted stick together. Dude, I appreciate that so much, man. You have no idea. This is my gaming habit this week definitely is in trouble with the games. Between Diablo's like edition that I need to get to for our show too, and then Street Fighter 6 and Company Heroes 3. Oh my god, this is 3 that I've been waiting for. Like, it's crazy. I appreciate that, Deccaddo, so much, man. You rock. This is a long ass trailer.
It's coming to an end, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. What day is this release? The 2nd?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be Friday.
Thank God they give me like at least spread it out over the week. Oh my God, I want this one too. I was talking. Oh my fuck! I was like so excited when I saw this announcement. I remember talking about it the other day when they announced this. I was like, "Holy shit, guys! They're bringing back Super Mega All Stars, and they got 200 like classic players and stuff for it now." Everything the same week, really?
Yep. They're like, we're gonna really, load up his backlog and empty his pockets.
Fuck me, man. Tom from Toonami with the $2 says South Korea just passed ABK. Nice. Do we think we'll see an approval from North Korea?
The comment above it is Matt is gonna nut.
You guys, this week is like the best week of the year for me. Like, it's insane. If y'all haven't played Super Mega Baseball, it's a fantastic baseball sim. Even though it looks arcadey, it's like the gameplay is very solid. Like, it plays like pretty realistic, and it's a blast. And now they're adding, because EA owns it, they're adding all these classic players to it. So they went out and got licenses for 200 MLB like alumni.
You love this game too.
No, this one I can deal without Katamari. It's fine.
I think the original was either Games with Gold or it's in Game Pass now. One of the two.
Well, I think that they were originally, like, back in the day, a PlayStation exclusive. Were they?
I don't remember.
If it was PlayStation or if it was Xbox.
If it was exclusive, I didn't give a shit.
No, I'm thinking like back in like PS2 days.
Yeah. I never played one of these.
I think I played this either when it came to Game Pass or when we got it as a Games with Gold. Reminds me of like the mobile games, kind of like the ones where you either put stuff in holes or you just, do magnetize of everything or like silly putty everything to you type of deal.
Even the king of all cosmos had a tough past, filled with a strict discipline and fierce training of his own father. Royal Reverie.
So I got an idea for when we do the co-stream, Jasper.
Work hard to become the great king of all cosmos.
We can use Zoom for our cameras, so that way I can in our voice chat we can mute all of our cameras and we can watch it together through Discord. Because this works flawlessly.
We'll just like talk through Zoom and shit.
Yeah, we'll use Zoom for, and that way I can overlay our cameras for our reactions, right? But then we'll actually be able to use this room here for our co-stream, so we can actually watch it together, and it's really good quality too.
Yeah, and everything will be in sync, so we can
exactly
try to predict shit at the same time.
Moms love Katamari. Grandpas and grandmas love Katamari. Friends and teachers love Katamari. This kid, that kid, your inner kid. We love Katamari Re-Roll Plus. Royal Reverie.
Royal Reverie.
On sale June 2nd.
So like Charlie Brown music right there.
And that's it.
That's it. All right. Well,
Pretty stacked week to some extent.
Wait, so
some bangers mixed
I don't know
in
if
there.
I'm signed into YouTube through this, but we didn't have any ads. So does my premium work for this?
it seems like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. So double bonus there. How do we get rid of the activity thing up there?
You just hit leave at the bottom.
I did, but it's still showing up. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's gone. I guess you have to end it or whatever. Cool. Awesome. Well, that was Tidbits. Yeah. This is a fucking crazy week. This is the best week of the year so far. Is it not? I mean, you got Street Fighter 6, Company Heroes 3, Super Mega League Baseball, and Diablo 4.
I mean, I just got Diablo and Company of Heroes.
Well, I mean, Diablo wasn't even included in this because it's technically not out yet, right? But it is. So, guys, this is insane. I mean, this could be one of the best. It's probably my best week. Unless, like, a bunch of other games come out the same week as Starfield and Forza. You know.
They come out the same week?
Well, if they came out the same week, that'd be crazy. You know, they kind of almost did that with Halo and Forza Horizon 5. They like 2 weeks apart or something like that. Yeah, this is, man. I got to go talk to my wife. Say, baby, buying some games.
We're going to be without air for another week.
You know, the air conditioner's about to have fixed. You know, it's going to have to wait here because they released too many games all at once. I just don't know what to do with myself. But yeah, that was Tidbits, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the segment. And we're going to be having some fun here in the next couple weeks as well, leading up to the showcase. On Thursday, on PM in the PM, Pong Soul and I are going to be playing Diablo 4. So it'll be a special edition of PM in the PM. And then on Friday, which also I'll tell you, we're going to start a clan, make it open. If anybody in the Fun Speculation community wants to join it, you're going to be more than welcome to. I'll put invites out there. I'll put information in the Discord and all of that kind of stuff as well. So look forward to that. And then on Friday's Xbox Ultimate podcast, we're having a special as well at 10 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to have our official prediction show. And this is going to be our community prediction show as well. So we're having some guests roll through on the show, and they're going to answer 3 questions from me, and we're going to get 3 predictions from each person that's there, including our panel on Xbox Ultimate and everybody else that rolls through. So I'm looking forward to having fun with that. I hope you enjoy that show on Friday. And then, you know what? After that, there's only one more week until the showcase. So
we got the Keeleys on the 8th.
Yeah,
right?
the Keeleys are on the 8th, so we'll be co-streaming that. We'll be streaming our showcase, Xbox showcase, our home team, our Xbox showcase on the 11th. The Ubisoft Forward on the 12th, and I think Xbox's second show is on the 12th as well. And then the 13th, Forza Monthly will have their thing. I don't know if I'm gonna stream that or not. Probably not. But isn't there something else around then, or is that it?
I think that's it as far as showcases.
The gaming show.
Oh,
might be
yeah.
after
Oh, yeah.
Xbox.
PC gaming show. They're also probably doing Future Game Show again as well, right?
Well, wasn't there a future game show like last month or?
Yeah,
two?
but they have it like a couple times a year now.
Yeah, I just don't know if they'll have another one like around this stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, well, that's it, guys. We'll get everybody out of here. Fuzzy Belvedere, where can everybody find you, sir?
Just have fun being on here with you guys tonight. Definitely got to get my setup fixed up a little bit. But for those that want to hear my endless rambles or rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere.
Appreciate you, Fuzz. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Forza stuff, especially after the Forza Monthly.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the career reveal, and I want to get your takes after that as well. Oh yeah, Devolver Digital show. There'll be a Devolver show. I don't know what day that is. We're gonna co-stream as much as we possibly can here, everybody. Work will be busy as well, so like I don't know what to do if like I have work meetings scheduled around that time. I have to figure it out, but I'm gonna try and
I'm in the
co-stream
important
everything.
ones, Xbox and
Yeah.
Keeley's.
Yeah, for sure. Jasper, where can everybody find you?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper, Twitter, Lord Master Jasper, YouTube, all that fun stuff. AI Game News, Twitter. I forgot to do the games today on that. I need to do that. I'll do that tonight. Then Monday and Friday night FSP is right here, and Xbox Ultimate 10 o'clock Monday and Friday.
Right on, bro.
That's where I'm at.
Thanks everybody again. Appreciate the support. You are all awesome, and can't wait to see you all tune into the other shows we have this week, and then also. Maybe there'll be something spicy happen that causes another Mavcast or whatever. So hope you have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Good night.
Bye.
Later.